God. Sorry. I'm getting COVID off this show. What's going on, folks? We're back here on the DST show. We are in a episode of major proportions after a tremendous Legends Night. No, it was terrible. I'm joking. It was really terrible. The only decent thing was the world title match of the main event. Anything else could just screw off. I don't really care. Over most of what happened over the show, they're still decently hyping Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre. That they should, because they need a marquee pay-per-view match. And whether you guys like it or not, Goldberg is literally the way to go, even though the guy's pushing 60 and he still looks like a freaking monster, so I expect them to at least give him something to do. And now they're encompassing like a little bit of a storyline with Charlotte Flair, Lacey Evans, and her, persuading the Ric Flair. Now costing her 2 one-on-one matches. Over calling her a lady. That's how a real woman does it. This is live television. Don't want to talk about my father. Yet he interferes in 2 of my matches now. Over tripping her. Over a suplex, then holding Lacey Evans' leg. Somehow, I never knew how this works. Whenever you just pull down the opponent's leg while he's getting pinned, instead of like the shoulders or something, and getting the 3 count. Moonsault couldn't do it. Counter over the women's right. An attempt for the natural selection. The match just was like basic with a bit of teasing over what is Ric Flair gonna do. Is he gonna help his daughter or the woman that keeps trying to, manipulate him just to get a win? I mean, this is kind of funny because at least they're trying to do something over with Lacey Evans, and hopefully they stop with this Peyton Royce tag team with her. Next up, we have another match. We've only been a month removed from their little feud, but now they're with another match after so if you have these special matches, they mean nothing. We have Jackson Riker against Jeff Hardy. And the thing was that he didn't want Jackson Riker to be involved. He literally didn't get involved in the matchup after Elias was trying to get some help. Counters, knee strike, twist of fate. The match just went on and on after counter. Back suplex. After the Swanton Bomb, Elias trying to ask, why did you come in? You asked me not to come. So he literally took that literal. He is literally without the mindset of the guy he's supposed to be protecting. That's so dumb. It wasn't that funny. The match ends with Elias still looking freaking weak. Even though most of the guys he's been pinning clean has less muscle mass and height out of him. And he has a guitar. Why isn't he cheating to win? So dumb. Make him at least look enticingly at least over their level other than just jobbing to them. It's getting me annoyed now. There was a backstage segment involving The Miz and Morrison out of placely challenging Keith Lee and Sheamus into a tag team match, furthering their momentum after getting back the briefcase over stupid implications, all because Miz didn't cash it in. I have to handily cash it in. When the f*** was that ever implemented into a cash-in? Well, whatever, man. Whatever. Sheamus tried to give him Keith a bit of a pep talk after losing the WWE Championship match from last week. Miz and Morrison come issuing over a challenge for a tag team match. and then it went into an impromptu one-on-one match. God, I'm just trying to understand, like, why do we keep doing this? There shouldn't be any brand split anymore. The implications to just have an impromptu to just get these guys extra work that has no rhyme or reason to it at all. Counters over tags, exploder suplex after exploder suplex, Irish curse, the stupid DDT Miz always does. He always has the most overdone, crappy, fake looking moveset garbage. I'm sorry, just Miz sucks to me. If you guys think differently, I guess more power to you if he's your favorite. Hot tag came over, spear bomb over to Morrison, and the bro kick for the win. And then, surprisingly, they still didn't manage to get along, and they wanted to settle things in a one-on-one match. Guess who won? You want to know? You want to freaking know? I really don't care. Sheamus won. I think. I really don't care. There was counters over with the arm bars. There were shoulder tackles. There were pounds over the commentary table. It ends with a dramatic fist pump after the victory, and these guys shook it off, finally gaining respect for each other. This has been going on since what, Survivor Series? The build to Survivor Series with these guys not getting along? Next up, we have T-Bar against Xavier Woods. Why Xavier Woods over the last couple weeks being Ricochet versus any part of the Retribution? Because Kofi has a jaw injury, so he's issued to have some one-on-one competition for no reason. Even though if he wanted to, instead of giving Riddle a title shot, I know he pinned Bobby Lashley, but why don't you have Xavier Woods put up to challenge for the U.S. title? Why is he wasting his energy over a jobber faction that he has very little interaction with over most of the year of 2020? T-Bar wins after counters off Hurricane Rana's a missile drop kick, but T-Bar comes with his finisher. It ends. Think it was some kind of extended freaking spine buster. The match ends with Xavier Woods picking up the victory. And, yeah, that's technically it, just a victory. They never even had a promo issuing, "That's gonna happen to you, Ricochet." Next up was for the United States Championship. After a surprise victory over Riddle, the U.S. title match wouldn't be on pay-per-view, actually have build for this promising NXT call-up. It would be the next night on Raw. So Lashley attacks out the gate just like Riddle did last week. Many spine busters, especially carrying him out and doing over-the-shoulder back body drops, tossing him like a freaking ragdoll, just like nothing happened, how he won that match cleverly like last time. And then he gets a full-on full Nelson. Lashley comes up looking strong as hell. Riddle just comes around looking like he won that in a fluke, and technically he did, because when he tapped out to the full Nelson, the ref wasn't able to see because Riddle jumped out of there, and then he picked up a roll-up, so that's the only reason why he picked up the victory. But over what I've been seeing, it's just been weak, and now I don't know what they're going to do over with Riddle in the first place. It's just going to look pretty disappointing. With a backstage segment engulfing with everybody just announcing their place into the Royal Rumble. Now, usually it's nice, if it's a surprise, if it's gonna be a retired star or a star that you suspect not to compete because he's in a different storyline or he's in a championship match. You don't suspect him to just pop out the blue and Baron Corbin, I will be competing in the 2021 Royal Rumble. Like, that's just be suspected. We fired, like, what, half the roster last year? I wouldn't even be surprised if Akira Tozawa made it to the Royal Rumble. After Styles announced his part over to the 2021 Royal Rumble, so did Drew Gulak over Shawn Spears. Like, I forgot he's responsible for both brands, even though he's technically in a feud now with story now with Roman Reigns. He's still got to be responsible for what's going on Raw. So, Drew Gulak, that comes around having Eric Young type gear like back in the 2000s. If he wants to earn his spot over to the Royal Rumble, that they're probably going to continue with this until we hit the Royal Rumble, has to beat AJ Styles to get a spot. Okay then, simple enough. It ends with him losing. After Amos comes intimidating him, he gets a phenomenal forearm. There was decent counters. He does his reverse springboard, reverse DDT, average drop kicks. The match was pretty decent, but Amos was the wild card in the thing, distracting Drew Gulak for the victory. Average match. I didn't mind it, but didn't tell much. Gulak didn't feel like, okay, this is going to make my career. All I have to do is just be the former two-time world champion and make it to the Royal Rumble. It's like that should be a basic little comeback, underdog story. I forgot that Drew Gulak has no personality. And next up we have Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax against Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. And Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose are just jobbing. I'm so excited to talk about this. No, I'm not really, but you understand the gist of it. Okay, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. The selling point factor of these women getting backstagingly assaulted, and Shayna just trying to break Dana Brooke's arm and Mandy's arm. Counters over with the Samoan drop, but he gets evaded with a broken pin. Enziguri, like one thing, Mandy can only do a knee strike, and Dana has the weakest offense I've seen out of a female wrestler out of her roster, and she can't do low kicks over to save her life. Over what? Like, tell me a packed over offense that Mandy can do other than a running knee, a bicycle knee. Nearly gets the 3 count, gets broken up. It ends with the Coquina Clutch, I think, on Dana Brooke, so that's the thing. They still come around losing over jobbers, and there's no legitimate tag team threat over except jobbing out 2 more attractive women than Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. So that's technically it. Asuka's doing nothing for no apparent reason other than she's technically involved in what Charlotte is doing, even though technically her thing was trying to chase the women's championship. But now she has to focus on her father being, seduced by Lacey Evans. And earlier in the show, sorry I didn't bring this up before, but Triple H returns over Randy Orton's destructive behavior, disrespecting and assaulting legends, disrespecting legends like Ric Flair, Mark Henry, The Big Show, that always dresses so casually. I don't know why he's never wearing suits. I understand he's a big dude, but come on. Wear a suit. Triple H comes around, getting disrespected yet again with his wife to issue out a one-on-one match with Randy Orton at the main event with decent hype. Pep talk over with Keith Lee. You're an NXT guy, and Vince keeps bullying me because I'm fat. Can't do anything about that now, pal. You're his. So, it comes over with a street fight. Randy Orton keeps stalking around when they started fighting, with him always losing the fist fight. No count, a couple clotheslines. Triple H keeps getting a better hand over most of Randy. Then the sledgehammer was coming into play. Then literally lit up on fire. Imagine if Triple H still used it, and he still covered his hand with that metal end part, instead of hitting him in the gut with the sledgehammer. I don't know why nobody does that. It sounds painful, but people can understand that will hurt. Don't know why you have to like cover your hand in it. Then it fade over to black, so the match is put over to a no contest with Alexa Bliss coming out of nowhere and hitting Randy Orton with a fireball. I guess that was a cool spot from the end, but wouldn't you like to end it over with a match with something as understandable as Randy Orton picking up a lot more than he can chew and trying to disrespect legends? Triple H didn't even come around with his gear. All he had was a leather jacket, t-shirt, jeans. Orton just dressed in his wrestling gear. Lackluster as it seems, this probably is going to be the most top-rated segment of the show because it's two well-known guys over on the main roster. While you have Mandy and Dana jobbing a poor mid-card match, one of your top charismatic guys jobbing out still to this day. Miz and Morrison just being absolute freaking jokes, and like no sort of structuring of the show. This was just a joke to my chagrin. I just really hate this show. I'm giving this a 4. It was really mediocre, guys. If you thought otherwise, if you thought the show was better than last week, more power to you. I thought it was average, but I think I gave the Legend show a 3 out of 10, with the only saving grace being the freaking main event. Other than that, they did bring over some semblance of relevancy with the world title match being issued with Goldberg going over his immense history. Drew McIntyre bringing that he had a wrestling youth, probably like wrestling my dad, and yet he beaten the Fiend. So probably you should really shut the hell up because you never wrestled the Fiend, and treat him more seriously. And then he comes around accepting his challenge anyway because his dumbass has COVID. And that's practically all I have for this episode of DST Show. Other than all of this, I felt like Raw was truly mediocre, like it's always been. There's practically no tone shifting change, especially when you have the joking PG corny crap that Miz and Morrison are doing. But yet you still want to bring it over a mature tone over what Alexa and Randy's doing, and then the inconsistencies over still how you want to format, how you want to get guys over is so bad. I mean, the only news that I've been hearing that's positive is a cool looking dude like Damian Priest that I think got to stop with that high fly garbage is going to SmackDown. So at least there's going to be a new face. Hopefully he doesn't get ruined by Big E's like backstage power garbage. So that's all I can say about this episode. If you think differently, comment down below. I'd love to hear your opinion. That's it coming from me.